Hi, Gary at ATV Tracks here. We have a UTV here. We're going to put a set of Kimpex WSS4 all-season tracks on. Just to show you a couple tips here. Basically, you're going to, when you get your install kit, you actually get 4 springs, 2 for the front, 2 for the rear. The first thing we do is we make sure all the front brackets together, all the rear brackets together. We have to mount these onto the track itself. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this apart. It's a lot easier to do it this way here. Take this apart, pull everything off. Put everything back the way it was, and we're going to take this here and put it on the machine, on the tracks. Pretty simple process. One of the tips basically is the direction. This is usually towards the middle because the spring's that way. Doesn't hurt to recheck those with the torque wrench afterwards. Now I'm going to put everything back together the way it was. I'm going to run this through here, and you'll see by the instructions where the washers go and stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to just put this together finger tight. As you can see, there's thread on the bottom here. We don't worry about that adjustment until we adjust the front part. The next thing is make sure these bolts are loose, because you're going to want to take this out and put inside your fixation place when you're ready. And normally what we do, it's easier just to screw this in all the way. Gives it more strength. As you see, it's in all the way now. So if we wanted to go closer, we just loosen them up. If we want to go further, we go inside. So we do this on the front, and we'll do this on the rear. Okay, we're going to do the rear now. We're going to do the same thing. Pull everything off. Basically, it's a lot easier as you pull it off to put it in the same way you took it apart. Now we're just basically going to put this one back on. Same deal. Put them on after you get them tight. It doesn't hurt. There are torque specs in a lot of these for exact torque, but with the Loctite, tight is tight. Now what we're going to do is this tie rod end is always towards the middle, so you don't want it on this end here. So we're going to just slide this back in. We're going to put the rubber bushing back on. We're going to put the washer on. The spring, and the washer, and the nut, and the same deal. We're going to turn this in all the way, just so that we have more thread inside. Okay, now we're set for putting the brackets on the machines. That is a separate booklet that comes with the WSS4 instructions. We'll show you how to do that on this vehicle right here. Now we're going to install the front brackets on the front of this here. We did notice here on the instructions here, it shows a kit supply, you know, for the front brackets, and we have this extra bushing here. But so this kit fits a lot of different vehicles. But on the install instructions, you don't put this in. So, you know, this is what comes with the kit. This is what you use. So it was kind of confusing to decide if we need to do this or not, but when we looked at the instructions, it shows that you don't use it. So now, we're going to put this plate here on, and we're going to slide it in all the way where it belongs, past this joint here. Now, it's in there where it belongs. We're basically going to put the one in, and we got a washer and a nut for the bottom. Now, a little lock nut. Now, the very first step that it says is make sure you put this bolt on. If you put this all together, the torsion arm bolt is not on there. You have to take it all apart. So now I'll finish this adjustment here, or this install here, with the 2 on the outside. This is only a 8mm bolt, so you don't have to do a lot of, tighten it too tight. We're going to get this one on. This is the last one. Now we want to make sure that this is somewhere underneath the ball joint, so it can go up and down a little bit here. We'll tighten it up now. Still got good gap there between the ball joint. Sometimes it presses against the lower one. As long as it's not too hard, there's really no problem with it. Okay, that's tight. That's tight. One last final adjustment. Okay, if you're in real rugged territory, it doesn't hurt to put a double lock nut on here, but most of the time you don't need it since these are nylock. So the front is installed. Then we'll go to the rear. Now we're going to carry ATV tracks. We're now going to install the rear one. This is a Yamaha Wolverine, but all the kits are a little bit different. But basically this requires us to take the lower spindle bolt out, and then the factory, since we're putting this plate on, the factory has a longer bolt, and also you can tell by the picture this says left rear. Very simple. You can't make a mistake on this here. So basically, and the same deal on the rear one here, we don't have to worry about running the bolt on because it's not coming from the top. So basically we're just going to hold this up, slide it in, just finger tighten it because we want to make sure that the top ones are in first before we do the other ones. The top one basically pretty nice with the carriage bolts, so you don't have to put a wrench on top of them. Basically stick them in the hole to kind of one down, one down. Also in the owner's manual, per size of the bolt is the torque specs for you people that really want to be exact on your torque. I'm going to snug this up to make sure everything is pretty well level and the bolt is in the slot where it is. It seems to fit pretty nice here. Same precaution if you're in a really rugged area and you're going to have them on for 3 or 4 months. It doesn't hurt to get a couple extra nuts and double nut them. That way they'll never come off. Now we're going to tighten this one up. Okay, we've now installed the brackets on the rear. We're ready to put the tracks on, and I'll show you in a few minutes how to adjust the angle of attack on these. Okay, we've installed the basic track system on and torqued the lug nuts per specs by the sheet in the owner's manual. Now we want to make sure that the torsion arm is connected. Pretty simple on these things here. Basically, take the nut off, and you can move this in or out to make it easier on you. And we're just going to make sure that fits in there, and it goes on there. And we will tighten this to the specs, torque specs, and then we'll show you real soon how to do the angle of attack adjustment. Now I'm going to show you how to adjust the rear angle of attack on a UTV. First of all, we've got the track installed, we've got the bracket installed, and basically it's sitting pretty level right now. So if this was way out, I just turn it in or out wherever I want to do it to make it easy to install this bushing here. Pretty simple setup. The bushings stay inside the tie rod end, and then you just slide it in. Make sure the square is in the frame there, and then you're going to tighten this here. Okay, we're going to tighten this pretty firm. We're going to tighten this. It's a pretty husky bolt, so you can put some pressure on this here. Okay, now, the only adjustment that you really have here is basically this nut pushes this back or forward. So the secret is you want this to be level. So we're going to put a level on this thing here, and I'm going to have someone lift it up to where it's kind of level. A little higher yet. Actually, it's too high. Go down a little lower. Down, 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 down. Right there, we're pretty close there. See, I got a gap right here, so what I'm going to do is my first adjustment is I'm going to run my nut right here. It's all set. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the back here, and I'm going to, and it's quite long, so it takes a little while. I'm going to compress this spring all the way, and what's going to happen is it's going to change this a little bit, so I'll have to do one more adjustment after this one here. Okay, now I've got it tight here. Now what has happened is it did change the angle of attack. So I actually have to, it's down too low, I have to lift it up. If I lift it up, the bubble, let's see if it works. Yeah, I have to lift it up. Now I can't move this any further, so if I'm going to lift it up, I have to loosen this 4 turns. Oops. You want to kind of maybe put a lock nut on there so it doesn't turn on me. There we go. I'm going to loosen it about 4 turns. That'll let me move this 4 turns. And it's still not enough, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to loosen it some more. And go ahead and lift it up. Lift it up. I am doing the right thing, right? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, I've finally got it back to the bubble again. Now I'm going to tighten this. Now it doesn't, to not put so much pressure on your tie rod end, when you tighten it final tight, you should have a wrench on this side here. Now, I'm pretty close. I'm actually still off just a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this again and go a hair more. Turns. I'm going to give this one, oops, I'm going to go a little further because it seems like it wants to go back there. Now I'm tight again. The nut's tight all the way. Now I'm exactly, the bubble is level. Perfect world, when you raise and lower this, this should stay level with the ground. Right now, I've done everything properly. I'm going to finish my final lock nut. But make sure that I hold the tie rod in so I don't put a lot of pressure on it. That's locked. I'm going to take the rear one. I'm going to lock that one. There, we're done. The bubble's on 0. If I were to raise this up, this track would, actually it's not even touching the ground. The track is level to the ground like it's supposed to be. Now we'll go to the front. Okay, we've got the torsion arm connected. We're adjusting the angle of attack on the front. I've got a level on the 2 rear bogie wheels on the inside here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this nut up here to make sure that when I'm turning the nut on the other side, that it's not putting undue pressure on the tie rod end. So, there we go. Now this bolt won't turn on me. Now, it's a little bit off. I need to raise the front. This spring is still got a 1-inch gap here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move the bolt, the rubber carrier, forward until my bubble starts moving. And you'll notice that we're always on cardboard, because if this is on cement, all you really do is end up compressing the rubber. So I'm going to take this and get out just a little bit here, and I'm going to just lift it up to make sure that it's not compressing the rubber, the inside rubber here. Now I still need to go a little further, not quite in the center there. As you can see, when I lifted it up, it made it a lot easier to turn. Because if it starts turning hard here, you're compressing the rubber. So what you need to do is go back out, just lift it up a little bit, then push down. As long as this rubber is not squished, you're okay. We're getting closer to where we should be. A couple more turns here. Okay, and do it again. Actually, all that work I've gone too far because the cardboard was working. So now I got to loosen it up. Now I'm at the bubbles at 0. So what I'm going to do now is make sure that that rubber is connected to push it against the frame here. Now I'm going to go to the front here and tighten this all the way, and keep an eye on that, because as I do this, sometimes the bubble moves. And then if the bubble moves, then you need to loosen this and then readjust it, but you'll be a lot closer. Okay, I got it pretty tight right now. The bubble's still exactly in the center where it belongs. Now I'm gonna, this lock nut was tightened earlier, now I'm gonna take this other one and tighten it the final time, and there we go. Still in the center, perfect. Main secret, as you can see, we're on cardboard. So when we step on this, it will slide forward and back. If it was on cement, as you compress that rubber, it doesn't move. You want the track to move. That's why we adjust everything on cardboard. Gary at ATV Tracks, 866-243-8359. 2 websites, atvtracks.net, utvtracks.com. We are the track experts. We also specialize in timber sled and DTS tracks. We also specialize in snow bikes, repairs and selling parts for them and selling tracks. We have also ATV Tracks small engine, 866-243-8359.
Turn your UTV or ATV into a real all-season, all-terrain vehicle. Increased flotation, amazing traction, and durability allow your UTV or ATV to handle the most difficult of terrains. Before you invest in a track system, ATVtracks.net has been in business since 1994 and have performance-tested every track available. At work or at play, ATVtracks.net can help you make the best decision for your specific needs. The only company to provide 4 styles of all-season tracks, we realize the importance of selection. ATVtracks.net was created to supply riders with superior tracks, to help them get the most out of their all-terrain vehicles. Our friendly professionals at ATVtracks.net have become well acquainted with numerous models on the market, and we know how they perform. We offer the best price, selection, and service. For the best tracks for your all-terrain vehicle, look no further than ATVtracks.net.